I mentioned Thetford to you and said it was the ancient capital of East Anglia, you might think, where? If I said it's in the heart of Norfolk, you might say, where? If I was to say it was 50 miles from the beach, you might say, where? If I was to mention Warmington-on-Sea and Dad's Army, you might realise what Thetford actually is. Thetford in Norfolk, back in 1966, was where they filmed the successful TV series Dad's Army, about a haphazard group of Home Guard members. Some people that were too old to join the army and fight the Germans, some that were too young, some that had other problems, disabilities, or wrangles that they didn't have to go to war. And based in Thetford, it became the fictitious town of Warmington-on-Sea. And you might remember the river behind me here. It featured in many of the programmes. Now, Warmington-on-Sea wasn't actually near the sea. As we said earlier, Thetford itself is actually 50 miles from the beach. But nevertheless, Britain was fooled into thinking that this was a sleepy seaside town at the heart of Britain's defence against the German forces. You remember Private Pike in the series Dad's Army, Ian Lavender, in real life? Well, here he is, in all his glory. This street was featured many times in the movie. In fact, the Bell Inn is where many of the actors stayed when they were filming here on location. How many times have you seen Captain Mannering and Corporal Jones marching down the high street here in Warmington-on-Sea, which again is actually Thetford? And behind me there's actually a Jones the butcher, and you can see Captain Mannering peering through the window there. Again, hard to believe that in the middle of Norfolk it's actually Warmington-on-Sea, or is it? In one series called Time on My Hands, you may remember a German paratrooper was caught dangling from the town hall clock up here, and he was marched to the church hall, which is actually at Honington School over there, and interrogated by the haphazard Warmington-on-Sea Home Guard. It was that amazingly funny episode where he asks Pike for his name, and Mannering says, "Don't tell him, Pike." That's what happened up here. And so, Dad's Army on manoeuvres. Pastor Charlie on manoeuvres. What does all this tell you today, living as a Christian? Well, just as you can see the Home Guard in the famous Dad's Army series, the Bible tells us to be on our guard, because your enemy strolls about like a lion, seeking whom he will devour. And so as Christians, we are in a way the Home Guard, because we are to protect our families, those that we love, and share the gospel to those that we care about. But most of all, we have got to be our own Home Guard and protect our own lives. How do we do that? By constant prayer, by reading the scriptures every day, by walking closely with God, by not letting our guard down for one moment. Live close to Jesus. Be the Home Guard that society, that your family needs you to be. Don't be a Dad's Army. Pastor Charlie. See you soon.